What's not that deep?
Owning a business, any problem that you have, it's not that deep. It's not that deep. I tell myself it's candy. Like, it's just candy. That's it. It's just candy. Melted product in the summer is something we're really dealing with now. I told you about a store I went in, it was all melted. And I was like, okay, it's not that deep. Like, I wanted to cry, but you just are like, it's just chocolate. Like, it's okay. It'll be fine. You'll figure it out. And there's always something that comes up like that.
Wait, it's not that deep. I need to lay the foundation for those listening because this is not your first time on the podcast.
No, I'm back. And there's a studio now. It's amazing.
You're back and
I'm with a celebrity.
It's better than ever, Grace.
It is.
Because you were so, we were so hyped up to do the podcast the first time. And that's what I love about you.
It's fun.
It is. But I was setting up a camera that I didn't know how to work in your apartment with dim lighting. And I was trying my best to. Also, that was not a slight at your apartment.
No.
But why did that come off so shady?
No, you want to know why I'm dying? Because I told you ahead of time, I have this perfect stand for everything to go. And you came over and it was not it. And I was like, the lighting's good because there's a big window, but it was not it. So we both were not having it work.
Honestly, though, it was it wasn't even in a disaster. Remember, I had to stop it 30 minutes in because the camera, the video could only last for 30 minutes. So I had to restart it. It was a mess, but you were so understanding.
But but the thing is, I literally have a flashback because I was doing something and I cut you off, but I was doing something with someone else where they wanted to come over and film something and the microphone didn't work. So there was no audio. And she felt so bad. And I was like, when I was in TV news, I had to interview a farmer, literally a farmer who left his farm job in South Dakota to do it. And I had no audio. And we had to drive an hour back to redo it. So it's the poor farmer, I just who gets in those situations? I had to drive through marshland and I had to do it again. And I'm like, girl, this is nothing. You lived in Chelsea and I'm in Flatiron. This is nothing compared to the farms. It's all easy in comparison,
That's a crazy story and lays up, I think, a good start to this conversation is you have your own business now.
Yeah. Where's the camera?
Right there. Date smarter. I want you to pitch the F out of it once we get to it.
Totally.
But you and I met when we were abroad.
Yes. A different time. Our disposable income, which was it even disposable income at that point when we were college students? It all went to drinking.
When I was a college student, I think my disposable income was just my bat mitzvah money.
Oh my God, I'm dying. I'm dying.
Right?
Wait, that's so true. That's so true. Oh my God. And I would sometimes, there was a time I went through it and I was waiting for something to come through for the next month. And I remember I talked to my mom and I was like, can you please just lend me $20 for me to buy dinner? And she was like, you're going to go to the store and buy cereal and eat it with water. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. So that was kind of unfortunate. But yeah.
I love that.
I know, it was so savage. I was like, but can you at least get me milk though? Can I have cereal and milk? But no.
We can't do milk right now.
No.
But so we met when we were abroad. We just had one magical weekend together.
And then
in Budapest. And my friend is going to a music festival there. And I'm like, I would like to do that.
I would like to go back. I really enjoyed that trip. And abroad for me was kind of a disaster.
Tell me why.
I just didn't vibe with the whole crew and I loved where I went abroad. It was amazing. I went to Tel Aviv. It was awesome. But I just didn't vibe with all of the people there. But there are a few people I really did vibe with. Emma Klein, which is how we met. She's the best and always will be. And I also made another really good friend who's still one of my best friends to this day. But I just I missed college too. I just feel it was kind of hard for me living somewhere where I didn't know the language. I'd go to the grocery store and not know what cheese was. It would be yogurt, It was just even the what do they call it? The vocab, like the letters. Is that
Yeah.
how you say it? It's all different, and I just didn't
The
really know what was going
vowels.
on. I
I
didn't.
mean,
And great place, but like it's a different place, like different when you go on vacation versus when you live somewhere and you're trying to figure it out, and you're just struggling to like buy cheese. You know,
I'm
at a
happy you
minimum.
bring that up also because I think that going abroad has this like magical undertone.
Totally.
I had such a poor experience when I was
I didn't know
abroad.
that. No, I didn't know that either because I was traumatized. I was traumatized.
It's like
Where did you go?
I was in Florence. I had
I
a
remember
very
that.
hard time
How
making
come?
friends.
I was the same. And we're both friendly people.
Mhm. Everyone went in with, like, groups, and I was struggling so much. I found out I was so depressed, and, like,
Uh,
that kind of came into itself while I was abroad, so it was, like, struggling with this new, like, mental illness journey of, like
mental,
it's an MIJ. Like,
mental. Wait, I'm going to use that.
you should, like, it's just a journey.
A journey.
It gets you somewhere. It gets you
Yeah. It's
better.
a lifelong journey too.
Right, but right, you didn't have the most amazing time abroad, but, like, are
Yeah.
you grateful for it? Sure.
Yeah. I really am. I met some super interesting people too. Like people from there that were just so cool. I made besties with like a 6-year-old woman who I still talk to, and she was the best. And I was living by the beach. Like
Mhm.
you always have fun when you're by the beach, even if not, every moment of the day is fun. You have fun moments in there. Going to Budapest, that was such a highlight for me.
Yeah.
I mean, I did drop my phone in the toilet with all my makeup, so that was kind of a bummer. But
You never forget
besides
your
that,
first impression of someone.
was that your first
You were
impression? Oh
hysterical.
my god, really?
Like, you were just funny, and then, as you stay in touch with people via social media or from mutual friends throughout the
Yeah.
years, you just start being like, "Wait, what are they up to?"
Yeah.
But
I
so
know. It's crazy.
right, like, knowing the people's lives from social media.
Yeah.
But I remember, I'll literally never forget, I saw you were in a blue top and you were reporting on the news.
And you were like, "What is she doing?
I was like, "Excuse
Where
me,
is she?
what's going on?"
You're Emma Klein. Where is she?"
What? Like, did you
Yeah.
graduate saying, "I wanna be a news reporter"? Let's get into that because that chapter is so fun to me.
It's so crazy looking back. I feel like it was such a different life, and I can't believe it happened for so many reasons, but I went to Michigan. I was obsessed with Michigan, still obsessed with Michigan, love Michigan, watched the Michigan football hype video on TikTok on the treadmill, obsessed. And I sidelined for football. Was one of the first students actually to get to go down to the field and do it for the local TV station. And I wanted to go into sports. Then you get advice from people, and they're like, there are a lot more news jobs in sports, and also you get a lot more reps in news because news is every single day. When
Mhm.
sports, it's kind of like, Friday, Saturday, Sunday are usually the big days besides college basketball or, you know, things like that are every day. But like you have to work your way up the totem pole. So when you're first starting off, like you're doing women's lacrosse, which not as many days of the week. So I went into news and decided to do that. And then when I started doing news, I realized every day is different. You could cover a murder one day and then be sledding down a hill the next day, and then be at a dog shelter the next day, and then be at a, car chase after that. So it just, every day was really different. Didn't know what to expect, which led to anxiety at the end of the career. I will say, a career of 4 years. It led to a lot of anxiety because I'm going on a rant. I know this is a podcast, but cut me off if I'm literally ranting.
Grace, like, this is not a rant.
Yeah. But I went, there was no control over when and where you would be. So it's like if you're in an office job, I thought that was such a cushy job because I was like, I have a bathroom, I have food, I have water. But when you're in news, you could be 3 hours away at 3 in the morning, no bathroom, no water, no food. And so, type A as I am, I try to prepare everything, but like you can't prepare for everything. Which that's not why I left news, but it's definitely something looking back where people are like, wow, that's such a cool job. It's like sometimes you don't realize, like abroad, you don't realize how things are until you actually go through them. So, respect for everyone who does that job.
Where were you reporting?
Oh,
And, like,
yeah.
where were you reporting? Where were you living? Like, I would
South
imagine
Dakota.
South Dakota.
I moved from University of Michigan right to South Dakota because I would get to be on air right away. And I was like, okay, we're
I
going.
have a question.
Yeah.
When you graduated, were you just streamlined to I want to be on air?
Yeah. Because I always thought there are two ways to do it. You know, you can either start somewhere smaller doing the job you want to do, or you can go somewhere bigger, you know, working as a producer or as a PA and kind of try to get your chance. But the thing is like people hire you to be able to do a certain job. You know, in business, it's not like you're giving brownie points to people who show up and work really hard. Like you want to give someone the job that can actually do the job. So it's like, okay, well, I might as well gather the skills I need, and it ended up working out because 5 months later, you know, I got hired for the next market. And it was because I got the skills that I needed from actually doing the job, even though it was a little intimidating to have to move there. But
Is the
what can you
idea
do?
to kind of beat bop markets and then kind of like
Yeah.
move? I'm picturing as if you're doodle jump. Do you remember that
Yeah.
game?
I was obsessed with Doodle Jump.
Like I picture you like wee, and then you go wee, and then you
No,
go wee.
exactly. And so I was in Boston's market for my last job. But my station was in New Hampshire where all the presidential candidates came through for the primaries. So interviewing a lot of politicians, which was kind of cool, a little frustrating. You know, I'd prepare all my questions and nothing would be answered from anyone, which is just how it goes. Uh, but it was really interesting though when you watch people on TV and then they're right there in front of you when you're talking to them.
Yeah, that is weird.
It's kind of funny, you know.
Any celebrities?
Oh man.
I guess local celebrities.
See, I'm trying to think. A lot of I interviewed a couple like NBA players. I covered Boston in the NBA finals. That was really cool. When I was in Kentucky, Coach Cal, who's now the coach, I believe, for Arkansas, but he was a really big deal there for University of Kentucky basketball. So him, honestly, there were a lot of celebrities that were like really famous in the past,
Hmm.
and I just didn't know who they were. And they would be like, "Oh, go talk to this person," and my parents would be really excited about it, and I just didn't really know. But I'm trying to think. I can't. No one really comes to mind, honestly.
That's fair. Also, there were probably so many people in passing that you're just
Yeah.
like, if I saw that again, I would recognize
Yeah.
it, maybe.
Exactly.
What was your biggest takeaway of yourself? Like, what did you really learn about yourself from those 4 years? Because that's like freshman, sophomore, junior, senior year of your news career. That's how I see a 4-year program.
Totally. It's so true. Um, yeah, I think I learned you need to have some sort of happiness in your life. And I know that sounds really simple, but I always had the mindset of like grind in your 20s. Like fun is later, work super hard, you know, work, 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 work. And it just was not sustainable. And I was like, oh, it's fine. You know, as long as I have a gym and I go to work, like I'm fine.
Hmm.
But I just don't think that's really a sustainable way to be. You always have to find joy in every single day. Um, and I also, this is a really weird takeaway, but the importance of getting up and going to bed with the sun. I know that's going to sound super weird, but I worked both night shifts and morning shifts. So I was getting up at 3 a.m. and then I was also working until midnight other times. So when I would go out, everyone else would be at work or everyone else would be asleep, and I would never really be around people. But also, your body's just not really meant to do that. You know, it's not meant to get up so early and go to bed so early. And so I started to feel really sick. And so it's just kind of made a health nut out of me of like getting to bed on time every day and like waking up the same time. I just really try to focus on that now for my own mental and physical health. I think it actually I think it's actually a thing. I know I've talked to some doctors just with annual checkups or whatever, and I kind of run the idea by them because I think I'm onto something, and some say totally true. Some think it's BS, but yeah, something I learned.
So are you saying you're going to bed when the sun sets?
I mean,
Is that what you mean?
yeah, I do, but I mean, not super specific with it, but I'm just saying shift work is really hard and takes years off of your life.
Oh,
So I think just having some sense of normalcy of like going to bed between maybe 10
mhm.
and 1 a.m. and getting up between like 5 and 9, you know, like some kind of thing there. It doesn't have to be extreme, but Yeah, the weird thing to learn, but definitely something that affected me a lot.
Well, also, like, when you're getting up at 3 AM, are you like, "Let's go. I'm so excited. I'm living my dream." Like, what's your
In the
vibe?
beginning, totally. I'd be like, "Wow, I can't believe I'm paid to do this. This is so cool." But then I think that you know that saying like Zen mind, beginner's mind? Like
Uh-huh.
you start to do things more and more and more and it starts to become normal and you don't really become as excited about it. So starting off, I was like in such a great, I was vibing. But then when it becomes work, because everything becomes work, you get a little bit tired of it. But it's also fun. There are good days and bad days.
I want you to recount 1 or 2 examples or stories that maybe that you reported on or, like, something that if we need to, like, pause for a second and have you think, because your experiences are so unique, and as someone who's only worked a 9 to 5 post-grad, I have no idea what your days look like,
Yeah.
and you're also in South Dakota, New Hampshire. What were your middle markets? Ark no.
Lexington, Kentucky, which was actually really a gem. There was horse racing, the Bourbon Trail, University of Kentucky, which like the basketball games were huge, and it was a really pretty town.
Hmm.
And also there are people your age that are starting off, and they're from all over, and they're all in the same boat. So I'm still friends with our meteorologist from back then. Um, it's so funny. I was in rural Kentucky and it was kind of a little bit of a scary area, and it was in Appalachia, which is really famous because unfortunately there's a lot of poverty and it's a tough area. Um, so I was with my photographer and I got out of the car to go do door knocks. So just knock on the door of people, pretty much some criminal escape from prison. And so our thing was to go knock on doors of people who lived in the area, being like, "Are you scared that someone escaped from prison?" To try to get some sound of people like, "Yeah, this is really crazy." Like to put in the story, it's just like that's what they told me to do. So I did it. So I knocked on the door, and it was in a trailer park in Appalachia, and someone opened the door and a German shepherd started running after me, like running, and I had a good head start, but then the guy came out and he had a gun, and I was like, "Oh no," and he's like, "Darbit, get over here," and like where the dog ran over, and then he ended up being a big fan of the news, and he was like, "You're the girl from the news," and he was so excited, and I just the whole thing was just like such a mind fuck. I was like, "What just happened?" So that was like crazy. It was just the whole thing.
You're like, "I wanna use that soundbite where he's like, 'You're the girl from the
Yeah, but we
news.'"
weren't recording. It was such a bummer because I would have loved to put that in.
Would you ever I don't know if you can say this legally, would you ever, like, redo a scene or something because you, like, missed the audio or missed the video to, like, recreate it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I literally can say this now. I'd literally be like, "Can you just do this?" I'd be like, "What should I say? Say this. Like, just say this, please. Please."
Please, so I can go
Yeah.
home.
No, but I was also a little like towards the end, my photographer and I were just having fun with it, and like we would put the most like crazy people on because we would be like laughing so hard, like when they would be like doing whatever they were doing. We're like, "Oh my god, this is so crazy!" We ended up just having fun with it, which honestly, more people would watch it. They would think it was more entertaining. And look, we wouldn't do it for a super serious story or something like
Of
that. But
course.
if we were going to like an opening of a new amusement park or something like that, you have to have fun with it. You have to pick people who are going to be entertaining.
You can tell when people are having fun with it too, if someone's
Yeah,
watching or someone listening. You
exactly.
want them to be having fun in the right scenarios.
Exactly.
So, you are at a point so
Yeah.
it was what year? 2023, 2024?
Yeah.
When I think you were talking about it
2023.
2023.
Yeah.
You were kind of, like, talking about it a little bit earlier, how you were really focused on, like, your health and trying to get more back into that. I'm trying to lead us into how Date Smart got
Yeah.
started.
So it's actually funny. My first two markets, I've always been really into healthy cooking. And so I had a little cooking segment that, when it was a slow news day, I would make whatever it was that day, protein pancakes or chia seed pudding or whatever I would make. And so it's always been something I was really focused on. I ended up making these cookies and I gave them to friends and coworkers. And someone was like, okay, the cookie part of it was kind of like a Twix. The cookie part of it is disgusting, but the caramel's actually really good. What do you put in that? So then I started making the caramel and COVID hit. Was still just kind of cooking at home. After COVID, the world kind of opened up a little bit. And, we were talking about disposable income. My disposable income went into trying to find a food scientist to help me make a shelf stable product. I guess I listened to a podcast and thought I was an expert and could just go launch something. So I started doing that. And my, I guess one thing led to another, and the next thing we knew, I had a product that I really liked, and it was shelf stable. Sort of thinking about branding, sort of thinking about the way the packaging would look, and that's just kind of how it started.
How did you even like, I'm trying to understand how you went from your coworkers saying, like, "These are so yum," to being like, "Wait, I'm gonna leave this job behind and pursue this." Like, was that
Yeah,
difficult?
you know, it was it was really difficult, and I think it was because I knew going into news it was gonna be a really difficult and isolating journey just because I was moving to places where I didn't know anyone and I was working hours that, other people are not working, and I was working weekends and weekend nights, weekend mornings, and there was a lot of sacrifice, and I always told myself going into it, "You're not gonna give up. You're just gonna ride it out." And then I felt like I was giving up, because I didn't wanna do it anymore. But, as we were talking about, everything circles together with the broad. Like, you never know how something's going to be until you do it.
Mm.
So for me to say, I'm definitely going to stick with TV until I get to network news, when I hadn't even spent a single day working in TV,
Mhm.
I kind of had to come to, you know, grasp with that a little bit. I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. Uh, so I thought, okay, we'll try it and see what happens. And now we're here.
Where'd you find your food scientist?
Through his mom, who I met
That's the best
when I
part.
was calling random people on the phone. Like, just random people on the phone. Eventually, someone was like, talk to this consultant, talk to the consultant. She was like, well, I have a son who used to work at Mars, and he broke off to start his own business. And the business focuses on healthier for you snacks. And I was like, wow, I got to talk to him, because Mars is like, if you're going to work as a food scientist, working it for Mars is a huge deal. So he obviously knew what he was doing. He's the best.
So how has your caramel evolved from when you first made it for your coworkers to now that you're in packaging and Erewhon and Happier Grocer and so many freaking places?
So when I first made it, our first run was a disaster. It was mush. It was like a pile of mush, and the only way you could eat it is if it was in the freezer, and it would like freeze. And then it would be like, "Oh, it's a caramel." And then it was really good, but like it wouldn't stay together.
Hmm.
Um so, trying with food, temperature is really really important. So if you're off by a few degrees when you're cooking it, makes it, it's a pretty big deal for how the product will turn out. So that was something we definitely had to experiment with, because on the other hand, cook it too hot, the caramel's way too hard and you're hurting your jaw. So we're still always trying to figure out that perfect Goldilocks happy medium, but you know, the product I had when I started isn't the product I have today. The product I have today is not going to be the product I have in a year, and you just got to start.
Is it constantly evolving? Because like, the packaging isn't hold it up again.
So the packaging will change. We already have changing. Our packaging's already different than it was before. Not
Is this new packaging from what I
yes, yeah, I'm
saw?
literally choking.
Don't
This
choke.
is a little bit. So we have a ton of claims here. And
Read them to me.
so it says refined sugar free, gluten free, dairy free, vegan, artificial sweetener free, nutrient packed. We made them bigger because they were really hard to read. But I also realized, talking to people, we don't need all of that.
Hmm.
You don't need nutrient packed. You don't need dairy free if it's vegan, because if it's vegan, it's dairy free.
Ah.
And this is like real estate. on this. You have to be so precise with your word to be able to read it clearly and to be able to have it make it stand out. So we are making a lot of changes to our packaging. Our little guy is going to stay there because I love him so much, but the way these are going to be on the package is changing a little bit. Um, yeah, so that'll happen next time.
This feels so cool for me. I feel like I'm getting an inside scoop
Yeah,
on like a company like this
totally.
because I would never think that. Obviously, when I'm shopping the shelves, like if I see
Exactly.
Date Smarter, I'm getting it because it's your
Yeah.
company, but also like it's delicious and the packaging is grabbing.
Yeah.
And like, right, but for you as the sole provider of it, you're
Yeah.
like, wait, let's get rid of this word.
Yeah, I mean, we're even changing the back. I have my little story there because I think it is a really unique story. Working in TV, people really resonate with it. They get really excited about it,
Hmm.
but it's really long. Again, like really important. We're cutting it, and you can add so much to it. Not we're getting rid of it. We're making it a lot shorter.
Oh,
It'll probably be this short, so that we have this space to do other things.
God, I love when somebody's story is on.
It's Yeah, especially when people have done something a little unique or a little different, which I definitely did moving all around. Um, I think it gives it a little more personality.
What would you say is the most difficult part about this process? Because, like, again, one day I
Yeah,
just saw you on social media, like, sampling caramels in the park, and I'm like,
totally.
what is this bitch doing now?
It's no, it's so true. I'm literally laughing because that I think goes into it's crazy. It's literally crazy.
I'm like, what's Grace
Yeah,
up
what is
to?
she doing? That I think goes into kind of the hardest part, which was people thought my job was so cool. And like, I would even go back to, we were talking about college. I'd go back for a game and people would be like, oh my God, this is so cool. You're on TV. You get a lot of positive, affirmations about it from other people, a lot of validation. People are always wondering what you're up to, what people are up to that you've known from the past or people that you meet. What do you do for work? And it was something that people were really impressed by. And I was like, so what am I going to do? Just take something that people are impressed by and like sell candy?
Mm.
That sounds crazy. Because it's not anything yet. And yeah, now we're in like ShopRites and Fairways and, selling out in Erewhon and we're really growing a lot. And now people are starting to be excited about it if they go try it and they really enjoy it. But I think that was really difficult for me. And I even had some people super close to me that were like, Grace, what are you doing? Like, you're going to quit your job anchoring to like cook? Like, what are you doing? But gotta do what you gotta do.
Do you think it was just, like, out of concern? Like, can you look back at those moments now and be like, "I get why you were acting
Yeah.
like that," or are you kinda like, "Why would you doubt me?"
I think it's a mix of both. I think it's hard for people to put themselves in your shoes and to know exactly what your life is like. And I just was not happy. And it wasn't working.
Mm.
I also know that it's really risky what I'm doing. I'm doing it full time now. Uh, that is risky. Being an entrepreneur is risky. Having a stable job, is less risky, but I think it came from a good place from a lot of people.
Mm.
From some, maybe not so much. But I always hear the saying you can only take advice from people in a place that you want to be. And so I think that that's a good way to think.
I love that,
Yeah.
and thanks for sharing that also, because like, it
Yeah.
is a little like, a more vulnerable side
Yeah.
to all of this, but, yeah, don't take advice from somebody that you wouldn't trade places with.
I think that's it. That's a much better way of saying it than I said. It's really true. I've always been someone who I mean, there are pros and cons to both, but I've always wanted to be super passionate about what I was doing. I know you're the same way. I want to be excited about it or I feel like I don't show up as I should.
Mm.
So I wasn't excited about news anymore.
I, sorry, I'm literally still thinking about that quote. I remember
Yeah.
I had someone a few years ago in comedy, Tell Me Something, and I remember it was kind of like advice, and I remember I was like, "I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this advice because if I don't do that, then I'm not gonna get to where," and I was like, "Wait, I don't wanna be where they are.
Yeah.
I don't envy them, I don't want to be
Yeah.
around them," and it was just this really interesting epiphany of like, "Why would I take advice from you?
Yeah.
Because if that's the advice you're giving yourself, I'm all set."
Totally. And it's funny, I sometimes think of TV as like a toxic relationship. It's like when you get out of a toxic relationship, you look back and you're thinking about all the good moments and you don't think about like why you're not in that relationship anymore. That is how I think of TV because it'd be so easy for me to sit here being like, "Oh my god, every day was so fun." And then I think back to when I was like sobbing on the way to work with like mascara running down my face and I'm like, "Yeah, that kind of sucked too." Not black and white.
Are you able to be in front of the camera now?
Oh, yeah, it's not the camera, I think it's
Oh,
just
sorry, I meant, like, I'm assuming you liked that part about your
yeah,
job, like, can you
yeah,
do that now?
yeah. Oh, you mean can I do it with what I'm doing now?
Yeah.
Like, things like this. The things that I love the most about work were talking to people, hearing about their life stories. I like to talk a lot in general, so that was kind of fun that I got to just talk all day. I can do that still. It's just different.
Yeah. It is different, and, like, it
Yeah.
will continue to be different as everything keeps evolving.
But what I will say is, one of I think the biggest opportunities that I have had so far was being we were the Fairway Find of 2025. So there was a competition. I don't know if I told you this last time, but there was a competition for, a new product that would get into all, fairways in New York, which are really historic stores, ShopRites in New Jersey, where I know you're from. And I ended up winning that pitch competition.
Holy shit.
And I think that came from just being able to talk in front of people, which is a skill that I've really, honed in on throughout those years and being able to grab people's attention. Uh, all kind of goes hand in hand.
Congratulations.
Yeah, that was cool.
How many other snacks, foods were being pitched?
Yeah, so everyone went online. I'm not sure how many people submitted online. I guess a few hundred or so. And then they picked the top I don't know, it was the top 10, 15 people to then go in person to pitch it in front of executives, Fairway executives. Um, Wakefern executives, they own Fairway, they own ShopRite. I think they own DeBruno's in Pennsylvania. They own lots of things.
And then when they announced that you won, was it in front of people or was it a call? Like,
It was in front of people. It was the same day. They went and like deliberated, and we were all sitting next to each other, like, okay, which one of us is gonna win it? And then they said it. I was like, wow, I never win anything. I won. I was like, everyone was like laughing at me. I'm like, oh, I got a plaque. Wow, I never get plaques. So I was pretty
and that's
excited.
how you got into Fairway ShopRite and the Brunos?
We're not into Bruno's now, but
Okay.
hey, DeBruno.
Hey,
DeBruno.
DeBruno.
Yeah, I mean, that would be a super cool store. It's in Pennsylvania.
Okay,
It's a
we
chain.
have to
So
break into the
so we
PA
have to,
market.
yeah, we do. But yeah, that's how I did it. And we also got special shelf placement signs throughout the store. It was pretty cool. It was pretty neat. Yeah.
I have a question. Can you see how much like, sorry, this sounds so stupid. Like, can you see how much inventory you have in ShopRite right now? And then each day, do you get notified of
No.
like how much gets sold?
No. I only get that with Erewhon because there's a dashboard.
Oh.
I do not get that. A lot of these distributors who they pretty much take your product, you send it to them, and they take it to all of the stores that you're in or certain stores that they service. A lot of them you have to pay extra to even see what stores they put you in. Crazy. Yeah.
How do you know if your
So
product is doing well?
that's the thing. And it's really tough because, I keep pretty close tabs on it. Again, we are in the New York area and the LA area. That's helpful for me. But I've been into stores and my product's not even unpacked, not even on the shelves. So, then the people running the store will see, okay, Date Smarter hasn't sold anything. It's like, well, okay, it hasn't sold anything because it hasn't been unpacked. So it's okay. It happens to everyone. But oftentimes when you really grow, you have to pay for merchandisers who literally go in and keep tabs on shelves, Um, so that's just another obstacle in the food business. There's always obstacles, but they're solvable. You just have to be careful about it. I mean, a lot of, sometimes in a day, I'll literally go, okay, we're going to go to our Upper East Side, Upper West Side stores today in New York. And I'll just walk through all the stores. Are they in stock? Are they not?
Oh my God.
How is the product doing? I walked into a store, all our product was melted because someone had left it outside. So then I had to contact, okay, this is all melted. We gotta fix this. Yeah. So you gotta have people go in and check it out.
Who's on your team?
Me, myself and I. Yeah, team of one, but I do have a lot of amazing people that are freelance for me. My graphic design, packaging team, they do a ton of amazing stuff for me, including really anything I need, like that fairway pitch. I need a poster board. Okay,
Mm.
got it. So they're awesome. I also have a bookkeeper who's really great that helps me keep everything organized there. I have an intern this summer. I have a demo team that, will go and sample products at stores both in LA and in New York.
Mm.
So things like that, but no one else full time.
You're running the ship.
Yes.
I'm like so proud to know you, but I'm also just so proud of this evolution.
Yeah.
And even seeing Date Smarter in
Yeah.
like Happier Grocer in Soho, like
Yeah. That's
that
a great
that was
store.
months ago, but that was sick.
It was really cool.
You're doing it.
Yeah.
Where can everybody find you?
Yeah. So we have a store locator on our website, datesmartersnacks.com. You can go type in your zip code, see what store we are near you. Don't kill me if we're out of stock. Again, merchandisers, we need to get on that. And then I didn't mean that in like we're out of stock. I meant that in like help me find the product. You can also follow us on Instagram and TikTok as well. Yeah.
What's your Instagram?
At Grace Finerman.
Amazing. Can we open the bag and we
Oh,
both have
totally.
one?
Let's do
And
it.
then that's how we end this shindig.
Let's do it.
I'm literally so excited. I haven't had them with the new
Can I
packaging.
touch it?
Yeah, you can touch it.
So as you can see, they're a little bigger now.
They are.
Yeah.
I like it.
And we're launching a peanut butter that's coming out in September.
Wait, Grace, I love this size
Right?
so much. It reminds me of
I know.
ASMR.
I know.
It reminds me of what were those something grams, like chocolate covered Keebler grams that I used to have when I was
I know
little.
what you're talking about.
Yes, bitch.
I just took them out of the freezer before I got here, so they might be a tad bit hard.
No, they're literally the perfect
But
consistency.
yeah, the freezer, I'm always wondering. I
those
like
are
them
all
like
for
that
me.
in the freezer. Oh, these are all for you. I like them when they're cold,
No, Grace, like
I'm so happy. 8
They're
grams of
so-
fiber per serving. No gluten, no dairy. I mean, I read the packaging for you, so you'll get the gist.
they're effing delicious. Good luck. I'm here for you.
Yay!
Let's hug it out. It's not that deep.
Not that deep.
Thanks everybody for listening. Follow Grace in all of her adventures. They're literally so good.
You're chewing.
Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube. Mwah, mwah.
Am I supposed to do that? Was I supposed to do that? That was so awkward. You're the best. You really are. I'm so proud of you too. You're doing great.
These are literally so good. Miles, do you want one? Okay. We're cutting back in. We're getting back to our regular scheduled programming. Also, I need you to do your reporter voice after.
Okay.
Do it.
I feel like I have something in my throat.
It's the Date Smarter.
Yeah.
Grace, what's not that deep?
Owning a business, any problem that you have, it's not that deep. It's not that deep. I tell myself it's candy. Like, it's just candy. That's it. It's just candy. Melted product in the summer is something we're really dealing with now. I told you about a store I went in, it was all melted. And I was like, okay, it's not that deep. Like, I wanted to cry, but you just are like, it's just chocolate. Like, it's okay. It'll be fine. You'll figure it out. And there's always something that comes up like that,
That's a perfect one.
Yeah.
And right, it could feel really deep, but it's not that deep.
No, you'll fix it. Like, it's
You
fine.
will fix it.
I will fix it.
Okay, can you do your reporter voice?
Oh, God. See, a lot of people say this, but I think I have a hot take. When I first started news, I would be like, good evening, my name is Grace, and I'm here reporting news. And exactly, you want to like laugh. You're like, who is this freak? And then when I started getting better at it, I just like talked. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like the best reporters, like they like just talk. Like think about it. Like Oprah, for example.
She just talks.
She just talks.
Yeah, sometimes I feel like news reporting has to be so, I don't know how people do it.
Yeah.
I would just start burst out laughing.
No, I got called in because I literally burst out laughing like multiple times and I couldn't stop and it was really awkward. Yeah, it was not good. But yeah, I don't know. But I guess there are different styles, right? Like there are different kinds of things.
Yeah,
Like some people could be Bill Ritter. He is probably one of the most famous anchors in New York, and he has like a reporter voice, but it might just be his voice. I don't know.
Yeah, like do people go to sleep? Do people have arguments? Do news reporters have arguments with their spouse in their news reporter voice? Like if that's their voice.
You know what yeah.
It's not that deep.
It's not that deep.